Mark. Good evening. I am Pauline Proch, Chair for Nantucket School Committee, and tonight is February 2nd, 2021. I will, if you will permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on this agenda are present and can hear me. Members of the school committee, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jennifer Iller.
Present.
Thank you. Zona Butler.
Present.
Thank you. Tim Lepre.
Present.
Thank you. Steve Sordovic.
Affirmative.
Thank you. Staff and guests, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Superintendent Elizabeth Hallett.
Present.
Thank you. School Committee Clerk Logan O'Connor.
Here.
Thank you. Director of Technology Jennifer Erickson.
Here.
Thank you. Eric Wendelkin, High School Music Department. Not this moment. Erin McKeever.
Here.
Thank you. Lane Cutts.
Here.
Thank you. Nick Hayden.
Present.
Thank you. Steve Shepard.
Here.
Thank you. Kelly Emery. Not at this moment. Alison Ritter.
Present.
Thank you. Mandy Vassell.
I'm here.
Michael Horton.
Here.
Eve Marie McNeil.
Here.
Kim Kubish.
Present.
And Martin Anguloff.
Present.
Thank you. And we are also joined with our leadership team as well this evening. Thank you. Good evening. This open meeting, excuse me, before I open the meeting, I usually like to give notice to our community who might wish to make public comment. In order to make public comment, you do need to go on to the link that you will find on the government site, the town site, or on our school committee link. You will then get a link to the Zoom webinar, and you will be invited on as a guest. And once you come on, you can raise your hand, and Jennifer Erickson will keep an eye out for me and let me know if there is anyone present for public comment. And I usually like to spend a little bit of time on this because people have told me it takes them a while to get on there and then be able to be in on the Zoom meeting. Good evening. This open meeting of Nantucket School Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such a participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, Nantucket School Committee is convening by video conference via Zoom webinar, and the app is posted on the town website, identifying how the public may join. Jen, I'm recognized, oh no, it's my, sorry, it looked like you had your hand raised. So at this point, I would like to have a motion, please, to accept the agenda as printed.
So moved. So moved.
Second, Zona Butler.
Thank you all. I got a Steve Sordovic and Zona Butler second. Tim, may I have your vote? You're good. You were unmuted, Tim.
Aye.
Thank you. Janilla?
Aye.
Steve Sordovic
Oops, aye.
and Zona Butler?
Aye.
Thank you. And Pauline Proch, aye. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to start with Dr. Hallett's report, and I would ask Dr. Hallett if you would please just go through your report, and then I will ask the committee members if there's any comments or questions. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Pardon me. I'm breezing right past public comment. So I'm sorry, Beth. Do we have any notes for public comment, please? Logan, can you please unmute?
Thank you. I tried to find the hand raising, but I can't find it on my screen with everything else that I Thanks for recognizing me, Madam Chair. I wanted to read a statement into the public record, and I hope that if it's okay, I think it's under 3 minutes. I'll try to read it quickly. To the Nantucket School Committee and the Nantucket community and public at large, I am reading this statement on behalf of myself, Logan O'Connor, School Committee Clerk, the Town Clerk, Nancy Holmes, and the Public Records Compliance Officer, Maureen Coleman. I wish to address the events leading up to the cancellation of the January 21st, 2021 Nantucket School Committee meeting. It is important to the presenters and the public at large to understand the reason for the cancellation. Due to the scheduling challenges inherent in sharing a limited Zoom webinar platform with multiple town bodies, this meeting had to be scheduled on a Thursday at 6:30 p.m., which is not the typical school committee meeting date nor time. The town of Nantucket, its boards and committees are subject to meeting time and date changes due to COVID-19. The coordination of the town, the school committee, and the Nantucket Community Television takes preparation and collaboration to be in full compliance with both Governor Baker's order and the open meeting law regulations. On afternoon of Thursday, January 21st, it was brought to my attention by Mr. Steve Sordovic. The posting for our 6:30 p.m. meeting that evening did not appear on the town online calendar. I checked and I did not see it there either, and immediately contacted the town clerk's office and the Public Records Compliance Officer. It was noted that while it is missing from the calendar portion of the website, it was indeed correctly posted on the agenda and minutes page. The former inadvertent oversight was immediately corrected to ensure that the meeting also appeared on the calendar section, which attempts to act as an aggregator for all town meetings. I assured Mr. Sordovic, the school committee chair, and the superintendent that there was no issue. We were compliant with the requisite posting regulations and confirmed attendance for the meeting. From approximately 4 to 6:20, there was a flurry of emails, texts, and conversations which led to confusion. Mr. Sordovic shared his opinion with all school committee members in various communications that the posting was, quote, absent, alleging that I had admitted this and further attesting that the meeting would constitute a violation of open meeting law. Additionally, he stated, quote, when one considers that this is neither our usual meeting night nor time, the lack of a timely posting seems even more bothering. I have to recommend we cancel and reschedule. The school committee chair asked me to send out a detailed email to the whole school committee stating my knowledge of compliance, illustrated by a brief timeline, and affirming my confidence in our compliance. In response, I transmitted to the school committee proof of both the posting request and its receipt, acknowledgement by the Public Records Compliance Officer, along with the computer-generated automatic time and date stamp receipt. With these elements furnished as validation of the meeting compliance, attendance was again confirmed for the 6:30 meeting. Mr. Sordovic responded to the entire school committee and the school superintendent that, quote, posting currently on the webpage has fabricated the date and time of posting. I viewed the absence of it and have email from Logan confirming the absence. I don't know whose idea the fabrication was, but we know that, and this would be compounding the violation of the law. I will not attend such an illegal meeting, and I hope no quorum will be available. This allegation is shocking. Via email, I asked what he was suggesting, to which he replied, quote, the meeting was not properly posted and has now been changed. Here are the salient facts on the timeline. Please note I have documentation for each bullet point statement. 1, the meeting agenda was submitted for posting via email request on Friday, January 15th, late in the afternoon. 2, the meeting was confirmed and accepted by the Adobe timestamp on Tuesday morning, January 19th at 10:01 a.m. The town offices are closed on Monday, January 18th for Martin Luther King. 3, the meeting was filed with the town clerk's office on Tuesday morning, January 19th, posting number 52. 4, the meeting was posted officially on the town website under agendas and minutes on Tuesday morning, January 19th at 10:05 a.m. 5, the meeting information and supporting documentation was also made available on Friday, January 15th on the Nantucket Public School website in 2 places, and in addition to hard copies available at the central office. 6, the meeting time, date, and agenda was blasted out on a listserv from the town of Nantucket starting Tuesday morning, January 19th, as well as placed on the NCTV Instagram feed. As you can clearly follow, the meeting for January 21st was properly posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours, well ahead of the 48-hour open meeting law requirement. The town calendar is a convenience courtesy that is an additional place for posting. The calendar is in no way to be interpreted as the only legal landing place for posting. The legal posting is the agenda and minutes page, which shows the date and time the meeting was officially posted. Instead of trusting the school committee clerk's guidance, a school committee member made an accusation of fraudulent action seemingly directed at the school committee clerk, the town clerk, and the town public records compliance officer, reliable municipal employees with years of dedicated service, of either individually or in collusion of fabricating the posting documents. This is a serious accusation of misconduct. The town clerk has written, assertion in an email that the Adobe timestamp posting was fabricated is simply incorrect. To make this charge that the posting timestamp or indeed its transmittal and receipt in a timely manner has been fabricated is baseless and unnecessary. The town clerk furthered, all involved in this process aim to do so with integrity and are indeed sworn to do so. Finally, the strong conviction regarding compliance to open meeting law seems ill-informed as the school committee engaged in communication and arguably deliberation via email prior to the intended meeting time of 6:30 p.m., which does indeed violate open meeting law, chapter 30A, 18 through 25. It is unfortunate that we could not hold the school committee meeting on January 21, 2021 for a whole host of reasons, not least of which is that several presenters had spent considerable time and effort to prepare for their agenda items. It would have been most beneficial for the school committee members to attend the meeting where they could have openly discussed their concerns about the posting and made a determination to continue the meeting or not. It is perplexing, unproductive, and hurtful that instead the school committee chose to validate the unfounded allegations from a fellow member who openly urged them not to attend in addition to casting aspersions on diligent town employees. It is with appreciation to the chair for recognizing our need to make a public statement to ensure the school committee and the town entities are always working seamlessly together. I'm submitting this on behalf again of myself as the school committee clerk and a community member, the town clerk, Nancy Holmes, in the town clerk's office, and the public records compliance officer, Maureen Coleman. Thank you with appreciation.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Connor. And on behalf of the school committee, I do just want to note that we have had correspondence with Mrs. O'Connor last week. Moving on, I see that we have a couple of other public comments to come forth. Catherine Slattery, you can be recognized. Welcome, Catherine. Mark, can you unmute Catherine, please?
Sorry, what do you need me to do?
Catherine Slattery is on for public comment, please. I think you should see her there. Yes, hello, Catherine, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. My name is Catherine Slattery. I'm a resident of Nantucket Marine and an owner of a small business on Nantucket. I am just quickly going to ask the school committee to consider olfactory screening for the Nantucket school system to keep our children in the schools. I have provided samples of this tool to both school committee member and Dr. Lepre, and hope you consider this as a possible ongoing tool to use to keep things going. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Slattery. And I also see it would recognize Bobby Planza as a public comment. Mark, can you see Bobby? Can you unmute him?
I think I'm unmuted, I think.
No, you are, Bobby. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to thank the Nantucket Public Schools today. I got to hear a talk in my advisory from Melissa Patrick talking about racial issues and how we can prevent that from happening in our community. So I wanted to thank the public schools for having her. It was very interesting hearing her talk. Whoops, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so just thank you to the public schools. Thank you to and thank you to all the principals. So I just found it very interesting. So thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Jennifer Erickson, anyone else for public comment? I'm seeing you say no. Okay, thank you.
No one else.
Thank you. Okay, now moving on to Dr. Hallett's report. As I started to say, Dr. Hallett, if you would go through your report, please, and then I will just see if our school committee have questions or comments. Thank you.
Certainly. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll start with our 2019-2020 annual report. The 2019-20 annual report was recently completed and submitted in a timely manner to town to be included with other departments' annual reports for our annual town meeting coming up in June. I want to start by thanking our school, district, program, and department leaders for jumping in to assist with the completion of this report. As several of us are new administrators, some of us found ourselves writing about a year. I won't include myself because I have been here, but some folks found themselves writing about a year in which they weren't in the district or the position that they now hold. So I thank them for completing this retrospectively, so to speak, for 2019-2020. Last year had definitely an interesting focus with the start to the pandemic in March of 2020. First, there were some changes in administration that were brought to light: a new deputy superintendent, a new middle school principal, a new elementary school assistant principal, and the additional role of assistant principal at the middle school for our curriculum director for STEM. Each school and program shared individual experiences with professional development during the year, remote learning challenges and successes, support and connection with parents and families, any school events, sports season updates, and other points of interest. As there were no MCAS results this year to report, each school and department provided details around school closures and the seemingly overnight shift to remote learning. However, we did have one group who were able to collect data from the 2019-2020 school year. Our English learners were able to complete access testing before the lockdown happened in March. So we were able to see how well our ELs did in making progress in 2019-2020 with access data. Facilities and grounds, technology, and Nantucket's community school shared what projects and programs they were able to complete, but also focused on the new issues with COVID-19, new training and information gathering, health and safety protocols, visual learning, and virtual, not visual, excuse me, and programming that began in the spring. So again, I hope we were able to capture the essence of a very unique and challenging second half of the school year, and I thank everyone who contributed. The next piece is the 2021-2022 school calendar. I have shared what we hope will be the final draft of the 2021-22 school calendar. It has been shared with NTA leadership and the district leadership team. And I haven't had any specific questions or comments come back to me since that time. So we are looking at a more back to normal calendar for next year based on what we hope to happen after the vaccine is in place, has been in place all summer, and perhaps new developments in COVID vaccines and COVID-19 treatment. We have not heard any news from the Department of Education about additional professional development days or a change in the number of the compensatory school days for student attendance from 180. So we are assuming that we are returning to a pre-COVID style calendar. The last piece of the agenda, other than enrollment, is a very exciting opportunity I want to share with you called the Pathways to Diversity grant. Excuse me. This has come to us rather last minute. LaSalle University received a grant from the Massachusetts Department of Higher Education called Pathways to Diversity Remote Dual Enrollment Courses. The purpose of the grant is to offer free online college courses to 11th and 12th graders from communities that have been hit hard by the pandemic and also who fit the following criteria: low income, underrepresented racial minority populations, and or first generation college from communities that have been hit hard, like I said. A survey was sent out to all of our 11th and 12th graders with numerous students responding and 20 of them fitting the criteria. So we have 20 students who are enrolled. So sorry. Students who successfully complete their college course will receive at least 3 college credits and also credits that fulfill high school graduation requirements. In some cases, these courses will act as electives for these students, which will allow them to have high school credit for that. All students will have a current LaSalle University student tutor mentor that will meet with them virtually every week to ensure a smooth experience. And they will also have tutors offered by Nantucket Public Schools to help them in being successful. The courses started last week, and let me give you a couple of the course names. So for high school students only, these are courses that are for high school students in the dual enrollment program. I'm going to take a sip of water, excuse me. So the courses are Crime Lab Science, Foundation Health Professions, Elementary American Sign Language, Introduction to Criminal Justice, Teaching and Learning in American Public Schools, Foundations of Business in a Global Environment. And then there are also courses that are for high school and current LaSalle University students together. And these are A Traveler's Guide to Global Studies and Sports Psychology. So we're really excited to continue this partnership with LaSalle University that started several years ago with Kelly Cooney and her program. And so I'm excited that we are able to continue this partnership with a different grant opportunity. So thank you again to Mandy Bassel, Kelly Cooney, and Chris Mimic for their very quick turnaround to get this fantastic initiative off the ground in record time. And we do hope that our students who participate in the program can come to school committee and share their experiences towards the end of their courses. The last thing is enrollment. And you may have noticed that there was a new document sent to you recently. There was a small discrepancy. So the document that you see shared here on the screen is the correct document. Important to note is that the enrollment is currently at 4 students lower than the last month at 1638. And the highest withdrawals and enrollments happened at NES. So I have finished and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Beth. At this point, I would just ask the school committee if you have comments or questions, if you would just raise your hand so I can see it, please. Zona, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Hallett, what's the for less reason?
Most likely it is extended trips that families are bringing students out and moving out temporarily. We assume that we will see enrollment come back up as the winter continues. So.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the school committee? Seeing none, thank you, Beth. I love to hear about the Pathways to Diversity program, and I think the fact we've got 20 students enrolled is fabulous. So I know Kelly Cooney was instrumental in bringing this to our school district a couple of years ago, and we've enjoyed presentations from students who have actually been enrolled in the programs. So thank you, and thank you to Mandy and yourself and Kelly for continuing this. Great. Okay, moving on, and this is something I've been looking forward to. Beth, would you like to introduce? I don't know who's introducing our music teachers, but we have a lovely K through 12 music department presentation.
I will actually turn it over to Dr. Raybold, who has worked with the music teachers in her role as curriculum director, and she's going to start things off. But they are a wonderful group, and I had such a great experience with some of them last year, and a couple of new people this year. So I'm excited to see what they have to offer.
Perfect, thank you. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. Well, I am really excited to share the presentation that all the music teachers K through 12 put together, and I've gotten to visit them all in their classes, which has been such a joy. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Let me make sure I can bring it up. All right, is everybody seeing that? Yes? Okay, great. So there are some things that we are not able to do, unfortunately, in music, according to the DESE regulations since COVID started. And these are some of them. There's basically no singing indoors. And if we're outdoors, we have to be far away from each other and have masks on. Same thing goes for brass and woodwind instruments. So that really limits us in a lot of ways. For non-musical theater, we can have some activities outdoors with masks, but indoors, again, with some things that we can't do. But our teachers in the district have been just fantastic about creating and reinventing how music happens. So I'm going to start with Nantucket Elementary School. And Alison Ritter, if you could share with us.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Alison Ritter. I'm the music teacher at NES, and I know I don't have a ton of time to speak, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. Starting with my schedule, I see every class for 40 minutes. Each class is 40 minutes. 6 classes a day. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm seeing each grade in a rotation. So I started off until December, I was working with first grade. So I saw them every single day, aside from Wednesday when I would see the cohort D students online. And then now I'm with kindergarten until March. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment, and I haven't yet met second grade, but I will come March until the end of the year. And the students who I don't see when we're in person, whether that be, cohort B or C, and also D, I upload videos of the, summarizing the content of the lesson or the things I find most important that they should know when I do see them again in person or I see them online. So all those are on Schoology, and I also send them to or post them with the rest of the daily slides that their teacher sends out. So that's kind of how I reach that other audience who I'm not seeing every single day. We kind of touched on the things that we sadly cannot do. So I've actually had about, I would say, 4 different classrooms over the course of the school year. So I started off actually when we just had cohort A students. I started off with them in my classroom for music. But once we got beyond 11 students, because I can only fit 11 kids with 6 feet of distance, then we moved outside. So I was setting up my classroom outdoors. Some of you may have seen me out there just running around being crazy. So outside, I had to I started off setting up chairs that were 10 feet apart. And we were singing with masks. And then once the weather turned pretty bad, we went indoors, and I had to go from classroom to classroom for the first graders. And then luckily, Kim Albertson came to me, and there was a potential opportunity to use the cafeteria. So I am now in the cafeteria every day while the weather is cold, and we use dot spots. to set up 6 feet of distance. Unfortunately, of course, indoors we cannot sing, so we've had to be pretty creative in what we can do. So what are some things we can do? We always start music with keeping the beat. So, I mean, a steady beat is pretty important for great musical foundation. So the kids know, it's pretty funny. The kindergartners come into music every day. I can see them leave their classroom. They know they're coming to music and they're like already keeping the beat. So it's pretty precious. We usually have a composer of the week, so we can talk about different styles, different genres. We always do a move it that we keep throughout the whole week, and that's pretty much just moving to music. And this week we're doing some ragtime with Gershwin. So they are getting used to that. That's a little strange, but now they're getting really used to it and enjoy it by the end of the week. Socially distanced games, there's not too many. But I've tried to be creative in coming up with some of those. We do a lot of rhythm and body percussion. That's pretty much primarily what we work on because it's one of the few things we can do. We've done musical bingo. I did that with first grade, so they can recognize music symbols. And I just recently discovered Seesaw as an assessment tool. So it was hard coming up with kind of a platform that was user-friendly for kindergarten and first grade, and also music notation friendly. So now that I've discovered that, we'll see in the next slide, I shared an assessment with one of my kindergartners. So that was pretty cool. We do a lot of finger plays and storytelling. So finger plays, stories we tell with our fingers, and they focus on being able to tell an engaging story. So we do that. We watch a lot of performances and videos and kind of determine what instruments did we see and hear here, that kind of thing. And we do dynamics, so a lot of opposites, fast and slow and quiet and loud and things such as that. So that's what I've come up with, you know, on the creative end of things. As a vocalist, I want to sing everything, and I've had to really switch gears here. So, we also used boom whackers last week, which was a surprising success because I tried percussive instruments earlier in the year, and having 10 minutes in between classes, it was really a challenge sanitizing each percussive instrument between classes. So I haven't done a whole lot with instruments, even though the kids really want to use them. And boom whackers really proved to be one of the better ways to go. So we created some rhythms and things with boom whackers. Let's see, hopes and dreams for post-pandemic, teaching in the music room. All of my things are there. So, you know, I have to break down or, you know, set up and break down my music class every single day. And that's a lot of work. So being able to work in the music room is going to be really, really a luxury. Singing indoors, family folk dance night is a big dream of mine because I think it really unites the community, and having, you know, a first or second grader being able to bring mom or dad and show them what they're working on. Of course, we are not doing folk dancing right now. That would be impossible, but it's a dream for post-pandemic schooling. I'm a big ukulele person, so ukulele class would be an awesome dream. Chorus, and there's a ton of orff instruments in the music room that we haven't gotten the opportunity to use. So possibly an orff ensemble was a dream of mine. And then what are some ways I kind of tried to reinvent music? I started a program called I Made Music for Someone I Love. And it's pretty much a sticker that students receive if they have sung something from music class or performed a finger play from music class for their family. So if I get a note or an email from mom or dad or, you know, an older sister or something like that, they get a sticker that says, I made music for someone I love. And I'm hoping it's encouraging that, oh yeah, it's on the next slide if you wanted to check that out. Yeah, there we go. So right there on the right, you'll see one of our students are wearing I made music for someone I love because I got a note from their family. And it kind of allows them to take ownership of, I know this piece I know this song and can share it with other people. There's some examples of the outdoor music space. You can see we're all in chairs. We eventually moved to yoga mats. So that was really helpful because chairs were a lot of work, 18 a day. And then now you can see what the indoor music space looks like at NES. The students love the new flags that were just put up. And they have 6 feet dot spots all around the cafeteria. And then I have some student work. We did some rhythms, so they would write their own rhythms and then perform them for me. And then I made the Fall in Love with Music bulletin board so they could see all their work and what ended up happening. And then on the right, I don't know if we're able to share that, but that is a CPAW assessment from one of the kindergartners. And my assignment was to simply put the solfege hand signs in order. And if you would like, you could sing as well, because on the Seesaw you can record. So that was an optional thing, but one of the first times I'm able to actually hear the beautiful voices of the students. So I don't know if we're able.
Let me try to make it work. Okay, Allison?
Sure.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do.
Everybody hear that?
That is one of my favorite things ever. So pretty much I've just been trying to hit the music standards, have fun in this time of craziness where students are really experiencing a lot of uncertainty and still, you know, abide by the COVID restrictions. So that's what I've been doing this year, and I'll pass it on to Jennifer or Steve, whoever's
next. To Steve, yeah. Here we go, Steve.
Whoops,
hang on. Here we go.
Thanks very much. And first, I want to welcome Alison to the Nantucket Public Schools and the great job she's doing, and also for the wonderful foundation she's laying down, which we only build on the foundation that you lay, Alison. So thank you very much. And I am also particularly pleased with your wanting to continue the ukulele program, which has been very successful at the NES and NIS for the past 9 years or so. So I also want to thank Kelly Emery, who also we should point out a product of the Nantucket Public Schools, and he's a wonderful musician. And he filled in for me during my medical absence for the first several months of the school year. And he brought his enthusiasm to grades 3, 4, and 5. And as you can see, he had kids working on the beatbox and drum machines. He also introduced recorder to grades 3, and a continued recorder in grades 4, which we're going to, which is a great foundation. So to keep them going with that into this year, which also leads into the band instruments, as you know. So I want to thank Kelly for all he did at NIS. And as far as what I'm doing at the present time, we'll quickly go through it. This is clockwise from lower left. On the bottom is a listening map that we're doing in 3rd grade. We're continuing to learn about the instruments of the orchestra, and I've found these listening maps are a great tool to enhance student understanding. As in how listening maps work is like a road map in a particular song. For instance, the one you're seeing is for the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, I believe. And it introduced the students to the celeste, which is a keyboard instrument which utilizes chimes instead of strings. And the students see where that instrument comes in and how it's used. And so That's one of the things in third grade we're using. Above that, we see the great composer Beethoven in fourth grade. We're continuing with the classical composers. And right now it is Beethoven. We're a little late in celebrating his 250th birthday, but not by much. But beyond that, the slide next to that is what we're going to be doing in fifth grade for this month, Black History Month. Speaking of the great composers like Beethoven, what is kind of overlooked and unheralded is the great Black composers that we have produced in our own contribution to the history of music, jazz. And so this month, fifth graders will be learning about composers like Scott Joplin, Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, and on the bottom, why yes, even the great Chuck Berry. So that's just a little bit of what we're doing at the intermediate school. And I want to, again, thank Alison and Kelly for the great foundation that they've given these students.
I'm just going to go back one slide so I can show you some of the student work from the intermediate school. Here's an example. Can everybody see this new thing? So what that's an example of is teachers using new technology to help students make music online. Another thing that students have been doing, let's see if I can find this one, is some scatting and recording themselves. So just wanted to show you a little bit of that that's going on at the intermediate school. So we're finding ingenious ways to make music. And now if I could bring it to, who do we have next? Hang on a minute here. Here we go. Nick, take it away.
All right, how's everyone doing? My name is Nick Hayden. I teach percussion and music at the Cyrus Pierce Middle School. This year has been a very interesting one. I should say last year as well. What a time to start teaching in the public schools. The past 2 years has been a ride for sure. Learned a lot and gained a ton of experience along the way. My goal as a music teacher is basically to inspire the students. I want them to enjoy my class, want it to be a stress-free environment where they can have fun. And, it's that class that they really look forward to going to every single day. Oh, it's time for music class, that kind of feeling. I want to teach respect and work ethic through music. Music is a tool to teach many different things. Respect and work ethic is definitely right up there in the charts of importance. Let me see, working as a team, camaraderie, okay? It's just like a basketball team, okay? Every single student, every single member plays an important role, okay? So that's really important in music, that everyone is involved and everyone is just as important as one another. Teaching students how to speak, read, and write a new language. That's the great thing about music, is it is a universal language. And it doesn't matter if if you came from Bulgaria or you came from Ireland or El Salvador, anyone can learn how to speak music. That's why I love music. I know, Lane's, last year she was teaching music in different languages and stuff like that. So one of the great things about music is it is a language. Some people don't realize that. To create great humans through music kind of goes with the respect and work ethic. And my goal is to have students engaged in their own learning. I'd love for them to come into class, set up the instrument on their own, pick out their music, start warming up on their own and be able to play without me telling them what to do, having them engaged. their own learning. What we can't do is can't really teach all grade levels right now. There would just be too many kids to have too many students in my class at once. Last year I had some classes of 30 plus. This year my max is maybe 16 or 17. So I can't possibly have every student at the middle school in my class right now. Playing wind instruments, it was sad at the beginning of the year. One of my students said, hey, my parents said if we're not going to play, they're not going to pay for the rental. So they sent their rental instruments back. So that was heartbreaking to hear. So hopefully we can get back to it next year and inspire those kids to get their instruments back in their hands. Again, giving every student the same amount of time. Lesson planning has been lots of fun this year. Okay, I have cohort A meets 4 times a week. Cohort B and C meet twice a week, and then my cohort D is on Wednesdays. So obviously, every group is on a different project or lesson. So that's definitely been interesting. I've gotten a lot better at keeping track of my curriculum and my grades. That's for sure. I was really bummed that we don't have X block after school, so I can't give certain students, special attention, private lessons, extra help, sectional stuff like that. No wind ensemble, concert band, or pep band, no performances, obviously. Cool. So even though it's been a tough year due to COVID, we've still been able to tap into some of our standards for music. We've still been able to create, perform or present, I call it, connect and respond. The kids have been creating soundtrack projects to commercials, soundtrack projects to nature videos. They've been creating slideshow projects. For example, we've done a career research project where they got to pick their own career in the arts and research it and create a slideshow and present that to their fellow peers. We also did a composer research project. That was a lot of fun. I let them choose whatever artist they wanted. Obviously, I had to approve it. But I had some students picking Bach and Beethoven and Mozart. I had some students picking Axl Rose. I mean, it was Marshmello. I'm like, who is Marshmello? Okay, now I know. It was a great way to, have the students teach the class for 20 minutes as well. They each got 15 or 20 minutes to stand up in front of the class, read through their slides, play a video, and answer questions. And then I kind of talk through some of the slides with them together. So that's been fun. We've been using a lot of virtual apps, virtual piano, virtual drums, virtual beat making programs such as Drumbit. BandLab is a program where you take loops and you pre-recorded loops and you organize them and arrange them to make your own soundtrack, and then we attach it to a video. That's been a fun project that the kids like. So we're doing like music tech, general music. Now we're doing music theory. We're learning, terms such as like dynamic, syncopation, melody, harmony, song structure, learning the ins and outs of how to play music so we can get on some instruments in the next month or so. So I have a couple examples here.
All right, let me try to get them going here.
Yeah, you don't have to play the whole thing, just a little snippet.
Do you want to tell us what we're listening to, Nick?
Yeah, so this is a soundtrack that a student made, and the goal is to line up the sound with the video. Check how the music changes for the slow-mo part here. Oh, that's right. So if you notice, they get to choose the vibe, they get to choose the emotion that, the listener feels. They get to choose the drums, if they want to use the piano, the bass. There's a lot of creative freedom with that. So the top one is just a video lesson. I like to put out video lessons so that students can revisit it in case they're having trouble learning it.
All right, here we go.
Going. I just wanted to break down that groove a little further. Daisy's here to help me along the way. going to take it really slow. We're going to learn each measure by itself. We'll try to piece them together along the way. All right, Daisy. So the sound sources we're going to use in this groove, you have both hands. That starts every measure. Let me hear it. That's always beat 1. And then beat 2 always has this clap on it. Cool. Nice. You have and 3, and then you have a snap on 4. Cool. All right, so the first measure is going to sound like this. I'll play it slow, and I'll count it while I play it. You can play it back. Ready? 1, 2, and 3, 4. You try. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Very nice. So take it slow, okay? Rather you.
So I love involving my 8-year-old because the students can't say, hey, that was too hard. You know, I say, no, my 8-year-old played it, you know? So it's a little trick I like to use. And on the bottom here, you can see this is a student actually playing that assignment, that exercise back. Yeah, so they get the written sheet music and they get a little instructional video. And I always try and type up some step-by-step instructions so they can follow along with that as well. So one last slide here. Let's see. So yeah, now we are taking a break from technology. We've been remote for, so many times for so long. We are sick of the computers. We're over the computers. I'm going old school. I'm printing out packets. We're going over sheets in class. We're using the whiteboard. I call on each student and they try and help me problem solve and identify notes and intervals and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun, actually. I think they're really enjoying taking a break from the computers. I know I am. So hopefully we can get on some instruments. I have 6 keyboards. I have 10 guitars. I have, 10 drum pads. I got like 8 snare drums. I got xylophones and bells and all sorts of other instruments that we're going to start applying in the classroom, start playing, hopefully later this month. Hopes and dreams for post-pandemic, get ensembles back up and running, win an ensemble, concert band, hopefully a little pep band, give students opportunities to perform at these concerts, parades, sporting events, stuff like that. I'd love to get after school programs going, lessons, sectionals, some extra time for the kids who are really into it and who really need that one-on-one time. Allowing students to play all instruments and sing indoors. So hopefully, fingers crossed we can do it soon. Thank you for listening to me. Appreciate y'all.
All right, thank you. And now we've got Lane.
So hi, everyone. I am Lane Cutts. I'm the chorus teacher at Cyrus Pierce. Although this year I very much identify as a music technology teacher. Since we cannot sing indoors, that makes chorus class pretty impossible for this year. My students definitely miss performance opportunities, which I was pretty surprised about, but I have had a bunch of kids say to me, I want to do concerts, Miss Cutts. Why don't we get to do a concert this year? I want to learn more music. But what we have done instead is we do body percussion exercises every day so that we're moving and away from the computers. I did a little unit on the pentatonic scale with my 7th graders last semester, where we composed using the pentatonic scale on Chrome Music Lab Maker. We played around with boom whackers. As Allison said, they're very easy to clean and very nice to use and share because you can just wipe it off. It's just a long tube. And I've been using a lot of soundtrap.com, which is a music creation software. It's actually called a digital audio workstation. So it's something that I got last year as a grant through the Friends organization for Nantucket Public Schools. And I've been utilizing it a ton this year. Kids are super engaged in making music, which was really my biggest thing. I feel like since we can't sing, we lost a lot of the whole making music together thing. So I've tried to find ways for them to make music themselves and just start creating. Middle school is such a great age for them to just play around and create and decide what music means to them. So Jennifer, if you could go ahead and play our first student example. This is a Loom video of a student's project song that they started creating. This is a student who speaks absolutely no English, but he created a really cool song. Oh no, was that my video on my end, Jennifer? It just didn't quite record right.
No. Yeah, we didn't hear much of the melody on that. I'm not sure why.
Oh no. Soundtrap does have a tendency to be a really big file, and it takes a lot to play it on a small Chromebook. So I don't know if that's just unfortunately something that I'm not able to share with you this evening. I don't know if I can share. The second one is something I mentioned. We did compositions using Chrome Music Lab. They have a bunch of experimental things they can do, and this is their Song Maker app. So one of my students created this melody. And we talked about how he left 2 measures blank and how, you know, we need to find other things that we can use to fill those 2 measures. You know, we've just been finding lots of technology ways we can make music, but I know that all of my students and myself are very much looking forward to making music with our voices again together as soon as we possibly can. So that's what we've been doing in chorus class. So thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, Lane.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Now we're going to the high school. Eric, you want to talk about the high school?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us and me. Traditionally, I've taught music through performance at the high school in both our instrumental ensemble class and also in our guitar classes. And again, traditionally in the middle school through the concert band. Obviously, we're not doing that. So it was actually a great opportunity this fall to, and last spring, to focus on important, significant performers, styles of music, history of music. And it's funny because in teaching through performance in past years, I often have thought, I wish I just had the time to talk more about Wynton Marsalis or whoever it is we're talking about, or Duke Ellington, whose ever music we're doing at the time. And this has given me the opportunity to really to do that in a big way. Of course, it's also sad that we don't have our hands on our instruments, but we're doing the best we can, and it's looking better. We've just gotten back into playing instruments in our guitar classes, and so we're hands-on there. It's just unfolding, starting this week, with the new semester, and in our instrumental ensemble class, we're also getting our hands on instruments. Also, I'm utilizing some of the practice rooms that we have, and some spaces where we can put individual students to get them working on their instruments again. I'm also offering some of the students who would like to study guitar during that time period also. In addition to that, this year we added a history of pop music and rock and roll. And I thought that was a pretty good suggestion, and I've enjoyed very much doing that. And it has sort of opened a door, I think, for more students who may not be interested in performing, but want to study about music and performers and styles and all that. So that's been very successful. I think I have 28 students in my class this semester, so it's a pretty big class. And again, it's attracting students that might not normally come our way. Music technology is another class that I have. And of course that lends itself to working on computers and distance learning. It's really less of an issue with that class because naturally we're working on programs that are on the computer and accessible to the students at home or wherever they are. So it's worked out very well. I might add at this time that this is a great opportunity for us all to look at our music program, and when it gets rebooted next year, hopefully, and look at how that might be improved at the elementary level. And I think that it's, again, you know, these times when we're faced with challenges, I like to look at the sunny side. I like to look at the opportunities that are posed from all this. And I think that although I'm not going to be with you next year, I think I just think it's a great opportunity to get this ball rolling even stronger than it's ever been. So having said that, I just hope for the best next year.
Okay, so that leaves me. My name is Erin McKeever, and I teach several classes at the high school. I teach a chorus, 3 sections of chorus. I teach the drama class. I teach the keyboard class. I direct the musical, and I have the accidentals and naturals, the select chorus. So I'm going to kind of go backwards from the way that I have my slides set up, just because of the way that this is easier for me to do. So my keyboard class, believe it or not, has been the most successful. I have 14 keyboards, so that there's a limit to the number of kids I can have. And for the first time since I've taught this class, every single kid has access to a keyboard at home already. So when we went remote, it was actually okay. I'm really not good with technology. So what I would do is turn my camera, like put my laptop on my lap sitting at the piano, and they would watch my hands and they could see where to put their hands. They did the same thing. So it was kind of like a little mini lesson, and they all got to do their own thing, and I could help them and say, no, move your hand here. So the keyboard class was actually pretty successful. Obviously, it's much better when I can be there with them and play with them. So the drama class, it's not a music theater class. It's an intro to drama class. So as far as that goes, the most difficult part was reading scripts together when we were remote, and half of them were in person and half were remote. The lag on the computer is pretty bad, and it's hard to hear kids talking. And so that, you know, it's difficult to get the feeling of a script when you're reading it, but we can do stuff as far as drama. Musical is a whole nother story. I'll get to that in a second. So chorus, as all of my colleagues have said, we are not allowed to sing indoors at all, ever. That makes chorus incredibly difficult, and especially at the high school level when these kids are used to singing difficult 4-part music. I had 160 kids in chorus, and we couldn't sing ever. When we started in hybrid, I'm in the auditorium, and they're completely spread out over the 750 seats that we have in there. We can speak in rhythm, we can hum, but you're humming with a mask on, you can't hear anybody. So one of the things that I did was a piece called Geographical Fugue, which was basically a 4-part rap song written in 1939. It's really cool, and it's just these fun geographical words. They're not even places that have anything to do with one another. They're just fun to say. So we worked on that. We also did, I did a unit on Hamilton because why wouldn't I? It's amazing. And Lane and I were actually looking to do, possibly if we ever got to be singing again, we were going to combine the choruses together. So I had the kids, one of the things that I did do was have them sing their part at home, record it, send it to me so that I could listen to them. So as we were studying this, we watched Hamilton because I wanted them to see why the songs that were in the medley were picked, why they were important, and the importance of the show itself, musically, dramatically, historically. Some of the other things that we have done in chorus are we did rhythmic exercises, we did rhythm games. We watch singers and analyze what they're doing with their voice and talk about all the different musical elements that they're incorporating and how they can do that themselves. It's just difficult because we can't physically do it in class. And it is very difficult for me not to just sing to them because that's what I'm used to and I can't. So it did make it easier when we were fully remote because then I could sing to them on the screen, but they can't sing back to me. We also most recently, because there's a big game coming up on Sunday that may have, you know, some musical aspects to it. So we did a Super Bowl national anthem bracket, and the kids listened to 16 different singers do the Super Bowl from 2005 to 2020, and they had to pick their own winners, but they had to tell me why they liked them. So that was kind of fun. But some of the things that are difficult, I do accidentals and naturals. We were not able to meet at all this year because we meet in the winter and all of our performances are around Christmas time. We couldn't do any of those. We couldn't do our big fundraiser, the dessert cabaret. We took a huge hit on that. And as I'm sure you remember, we didn't get to do the musical last year because Mary Poppins, the day it got canceled, the day that we were opening, 2 hours before it opened. So that was really, really painful. And so as a result, I had talked to Miss Cutts and I said, I have to do something. So we are having auditions this week for a virtual musical. While it's not going to be the same, I just need to have the kids doing something because I need to have them perform. And the last part on my slide is it is imperative for the program K through 12, but especially at the high school, because I have kids that want to go into music as a career. They're missing out the whole half of their junior year and the rest of their senior year with music. It's imperative for this program to continue to get students back to performing. And the last thing that I want to say, because I know this has been a long presentation, I was talking to my students about how they feel about class and how, what do you think about this? And one of my students sent me a quote and said, could you please share this? And I asked if I could share her name. It is Carolyn Harding, who is a senior. She is a pianist. She's got a beautiful singing voice, and she is going into music as a career and looking at NYU, and like she has a very promising career in the music field. So this is what she said to me, and I hope I can get through this. Throughout my high school career, I always looked forward to chorus class because singing is my way of escaping a difficult day, and this year has definitely been a challenge without it. As a senior who has been in chorus my whole high school career, I was super disappointed that I wouldn't get to have a final year of accidentals and naturals or a final masterpiece or even just a final vocal warm-up. And as hard as it is on teachers, it is really tough on the kids. So I'm hoping that we can get back to singing sometime soon and that Desi figures out that it's safe to sing. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone, so much. That was such a great presentation from you all. And how lucky are we with all of your energy and exuberance and passion for what you do. It's just, our kids are so fortunate to have you all. And I've been fortunate myself with my own children, of course, with my husband playing music to enjoy what our schools offer. So thank you so much.
Pauline, if I could just say one thing quickly.
Yes, of course, Steve.
If I could just expand on something that brought up, that he emphasized that playing music helps students work as a team. And I just want to say the music department at the Nantucket Public Schools is a wonderful team. And through all the years I've worked there, there's just been, we've always come together and always helped each other out. And I just think it's, as you could probably tell, it's a great team to work with. And I'm just very happy to be associated with these professionals.
Thank you, Steve, for saying that. Thank you. I know we are very fortunate to have everybody in our district. Looking at our school committee members, any comments or questions? And if so, please raise your hand. Zona Butler.
I just want to say quickly, Aaron, Eric, Allison, Steve, Nick, you guys are doing a wonderful job trying to make it through here. Allison, you started on such an engaging storytelling. The excitement in your voice just made me want to smile. Music is the universal language. And Erin, your student that said, you know, she can be having a tough day and music is what it does the same for me. I have Alexa sitting right next to me, and every night that's what I go to sleep to. So keep up, keep the fight. We're almost there. And good luck, and thank you everyone for what you do. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Zona. Thank you. Well, Steve, yes.
If you'll excuse my play on words to start with, it all sounds great. And I loved hearing about it. Your creativity, flexibility, nothing short of astonishing, given what you've had to change to this year. And with no disrespect, direct or implied, to the rest of you, I have to thank Nick for expanding my view of what percussion is exponentially. I never imagined when that was put in the curriculum, the kinds of things you'd be doing. It's amazing what you're all doing, but as a former CPS person, that in particular has really struck me. So thank you all. It's really astonishing what you're doing.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve. Jen.
I just want to echo what the other members said. I'm so appreciative for your dedication, for the struggles that you guys face. It's really extremely challenging, and you are just moving through it. You make it look so effortless. You really do, because it just looks like fun, and it's so engaging. And I'm really appreciative of what you're doing for your students. I think it means so much to them, especially during these times. So thank you. And I agree, we've got to get them back on stage, get them back singing, get them back with their instruments. And we've been able to do that, thankfully, with the sports teams. So we need to look at creative ways to getting our students back. Thank you.
Thank you. And just before we go on to our next presentation, and I know we've got a few months left with Eric, but he did mention that he won't be here next year. And so I'd like to take this opportunity and just saying thank you, Eric, for the number of years that you have given to our students, the wonderful efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Mr. Shepherd is also going to be leaving after this year. So I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't, you know, you need to be
Yes, Steve, thank you so much. I didn't know that. Thank you. Wow. There's some big shoes to fill.
Eric's the man. Eric's the man.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, well, this is going to be a hard one to follow up here. We're going to have the annual bullying report from our 4 school principals. Shall we go in the order on the agenda, Beth, with Nantucket High School first? Okay, so I'll ask Mandy.
That's fine.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, so Mandy, would you like to go first, please?
Sure. Thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you to our music department. I personally think that Aaron and Eric do an excellent job, and I always like visiting their classes and see how creative they are in making it work this year. So thank you guys for doing that. And I've heard great things about the other teachers. I just haven't seen them. So to get to our bullying report here at the high school, one thing I am very happy to report about, and I checked this with our assistant principal, Ms. Sarah Dallas, as well as Officer Thompson, our SRO, that we have had no formal bullying reports this year at the high school. So we are very pleased about that. We do know that part of that is because, you know, we have not been in school. We have had some reports of some unkind behavior, bordering, you know, harassing behavior of online interactions with students, but they were dealt with and addressed as soon as they were reported. I checked in with our teachers to see like what kind of conversations they're having with their students, and they regularly talk to their students about appropriate behavior during the remote classes, and of course during in-person classes, which we have had so few of, but they do spend quite a bit of time talking about respect and respectful environment in the classroom and making sure that it's a safe space for all students to be able to participate. One teacher specifically said, and it was pretty awesome, talking about, the remote learning, that he cautioned students not to put things in the chat or not to write things in general that they would be too embarrassed to say in person. So I thought that that was a really good way for our teachers to discuss that. We did recognize back in October Worldwide Blue Shirt Day, which is a day that recognizes bullying prevention. And so we had a fairly good turnout of people wearing blue. We were, I believe we were actually in person with our cohort A students at that time, but our teachers came out and really supported that. So we were happy with that as well. And unless you have questions, that's it.
Thank you, Mandy. I think we'll move through the presentation and take questions, comments at the end.
Okay, thank you.
Michael Horton.
Colleen. At CPS, we also have had 0 formal bullying reports this year. Now, that's not to say we haven't had incidents or conflicts, but as Mandy reported, we handle those and address those conflicts and situations between students. A key word in the bullying definition is repeated. So unless something is repeated more than once, it kind of stands out as a single one-time occurrence that we address and have some type of resolution consequence if necessary. I'd also like to just thank the tech department. Go Guardian is amazing. It is a little bit like Big Brother is watching when students are on a school issued Chromebook, but it serves a very functional purpose that anything a student does, whether it's in school or at home on their Chromebook, we can see. And we get automatic reports from Go Guardian if there is something inappropriate or even a search that's inappropriate or a video. So that really tends to keep students in line. Also, Google Meet, you may remember, adjusted to how Zoom initially had breakout rooms, and they had to be monitored or opened by the teacher. In other words, students can no longer be unsupervised in Google Meets, or at least they shouldn't be, because teachers can control when they open and who enters those sessions. You've heard of Zoom bombing and other outsiders. Teachers know how to deny entry and to remove people who are not legitimate in a lot of our Google Meets and remote sessions. I think this is important because bullying is in a different realm right now relative to this online format. So I just wanted to share that. The last thing is we did have a serious incident in late August, but it did not involve Cyrus Pierce Middle School. It involved a student, a summer student, as well as a school in Cambridge that was handled by the Cambridge police. So it was not an investigation that actually went through our school. I just want to share that because that's probably information that people are aware of.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Let's go to Eve Marie for NIS.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. So we are also happy to report that thus far this school year, there have been 0 reports of bullying. And there are a lot of factors that we attribute this to. Our students are in pods this school year, and thus they're interacting regularly only with the children in their classrooms. Even at recess, they stay with their same group. So they're in groups of no more than 15 students right now, supervised by an adult. Recess, arrival, and dismissal are typically the most unstructured parts of our school day, But this year, our students are arriving to school and going directly into their class line. Recess, as I mentioned, occurs in their same pods. Dismissal involves students of different grades exiting the building out different exits, waiting for rides in grade level pods with adult supervision. Arrival and recess have approximately 1 adult per every 12 to 15 children. The adult ratio is even higher at dismissal. So as you can see, this results in a very high level of student supervision, the highest we've ever had. Our teachers are monitoring students online, just like they are in the other schools, using GoGuardian, and our adult presence online and our staff use of GoGuardian has increased significantly with our students online, much more than they were in the past. And last but not least, and probably most important of all, our focus on social emotional learning is front and center, and also very supportive of fewer incidents of bullying. Thank you.
Thank you, Eve Marie. Let's move to Kim Kubish, please. I think you're muted, Kim. Can't hear you. No. Now try. No. No, I can't. Mark, if you can hear me, is there a way that you can help Kim with her sound, please?
There's absolutely nothing I can do, unfortunately. It's happening with her hardware.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. Thank you, Mark. Beth, would you like to?
Just a suggestion for Kim. If you want to try to leave the meeting and come back in, you may be able to hear. We may be able to hear you. Give it a try.
Okay, thank you, Beth. Okay, in the meantime, I will just ask our school committee if they have questions for the high school, middle school, and intermediate school while we're waiting, comments or questions. And I'm Steve, please.
I'd just like to commend you all, because one of the most important aspects of dealing with bullying, well, two actually. One is, I know that you're teaching your kids and your staff. It's been a part of the way we've approached it all along, and it's clear it's working. And the other thing is to step in as soon as there's some sort of a flare-up. And it sounds as if you're all doing that and dealing with it. It's exactly the way we set it up to do it, and I commend you all for it. You too, Kim, because I'm sure we were going to get the same report from you.
Thank you, Steve. Kim, want to try to see if you can be heard?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can.
It's like the Verizon commercial.
Yes.
And so like this joke might be a little flat now, but I was going to say I never get this opportunity to step up like Dr. Bucky used to, sit at the table and say, do you have any questions for me? Because everybody said everything I would say. The only thing I would do, we very closely match Eve Marie McNeil's comments, because you can see all the lines outside our school for all those lineups, and really all our staff are pitching in, and they are out in the morning and out in the afternoon to really pay close attention to our kids. They are in those pods. Maximum pod size is 18, and that's in kindergarten, and they stay together. They don't get the opportunity to mix with anyone else. Our other classrooms have like 12 or 14 max, except for pre-K, which has 8. The social emotional piece, we have a strong foundation with our staff for responsive classroom. So that has a lot to do with accountability for your actions, and kids having accountability for their actions. So our staff is pretty well versed in that. And it is language we use all day, every day. And so for our second graders, they've been doing that for 4 years in some cases. But we have put so much energy into the care and concern for our kids during this pandemic. And the last piece I would share about that is, sadly, I think remote works the worst for the youngest children. And more often than not, kids who have to sign on for their Wednesday opportunities or their cohort B, C, D, or all remote school options, they often have a parent sitting right with them. So there isn't a lot of opportunity for those things to happen. And I would just say our kids are young and innocent, and we have no even incidences that have been brought up. So that's where NES is in regards to bullying this year. Thank you. And
thank you.
Reach out to the music team, especially our new girl, Alison Ritter, who was so excited to have her first teaching job, and she is knocking it out of the park.
I think we got to sample some of that, her great enthusiasm and passion. Great. Okay, any comments from school committee regarding the bullying presentation? No. Okay, thank you. May I have Martin Engelhoff to come up, please, to do the second quarter budget update?
Good evening. How is everybody doing? It's for the public schools, as you've seen probably from the charts that were sent. We are on track with where we usually are this time of the year. Total expenditures at this point are a little over $810,000 ahead of last year's at this level, which is normal, driven mostly by payroll and contractual obligations, which are about $621,000 over at the end of the second quarter over the second quarter in 2020. It's several areas that I would like to focus on. One of them is if you look at the sped tuition expense, this has increased a little over $215,000, mostly due to a large settlement which was signed this year. We expect this to be a one-time increase. It was a $165,000 settlement, so this was one of it, as well as several tuition increases. The other area that I like to focus on is hardware software. That has increased a little over $116,000. This again is to be expected this year. We have purchased laptops for the Nantucket Intermediate School and iPads for NES. But those two expenses were an increase of a little over $85,000, as well as some increase in software. It's been a year that we anticipated these expenses. We have also used additional outside funds from our operating budget, such as the ESSER 1 grant and the coronavirus relief fund that was given to us to offset some of these expenses. So this is by no means the total picture of our technology expenses. We've applied them to other funds as well, it's been extremely helpful as we have dealt with the current situation. The third area that I wanted to focus on is other expenses and travel. This also is a little bit self-explanatory. Obviously, travel has been limited this year, and especially athletics travel and other as well, PD travel as well. So this has not been a year for traveling. That's why you see a drop there of about $50,000. So this is the operating expense. This is the school budget. The community school, as you can see from the other documents that were sent, the historical comparison, it is total revenues in the second fiscal quarter show a little over $373,000 decline. It's not on these charts, Jen. I'm sorry. It's a separate attachment. But thank you. So the drop of 373 is actually an operating revenue drop of 423, or a little over $423,000. As we know, this year our general fund subsidy increased by $50,000, so that is offsetting some of this operating drop. This, as I reported in the first quarter, we anticipate this to be a year where it's very, very difficult to make any kind of assumptions, forecasts, or comparisons with the prior fiscal quarters. It's just been extremely challenging. A lot of programs have not been run, or they ran later than usual. It's been a challenge with the amount, obviously due to social distancing, with the amount of participants that we can do. Some programs, especially in adult ed, huge revenue bringers were canceled, and such as the ESOL has been tempered. Journeyman and master electrician courses, QuickBooks Online, and are just an example of a lot of courses that have just not happened this year. It's operating expenses also have dropped by close to $250,000. It's again, we are going through the year as best as we can. We are looking for, we have received a lot of outside help. I did mention at my first quarter presentation, and I did include it in this presentation as well. I apologize if it's repetitious, but I wanna make a point to thank every single organization and a lot of individual donors that have expressed support for the community school. We have received the usual financial grants and donations from organizations such as Remain Nantucket or Community Foundation for Nantucket, the Nantucket Golf Club Foundation, but we've also received a lot of individual donations, which have been extremely helpful. And without them, I think this year would have been, the financial results would have been even worse. We are prepared. My job obviously is to make sure that we close the year as close to balanced fiscally ending as we can get, and we're looking at it. I've spoken with the director of the community school, Tracy Roberts, and her team. We communicate often to see what options we have and what will happen. I think we'll be able to cover the deficit this year, but again, it's been a challenging year. So you almost cannot make reasonable forecasts or conclusions on the basis of these two fiscal quarters. The school lunch program is another area, unfortunately, where it's becoming a challenge. As you can see, as of the end of December, we are looking at a deficit over $148,000. This is roughly $100,000 increase over where we were at this point at the end of the second quarter last year. And numerous reasons. Some of it actually is a delay in the reimbursements from federal and state funds. As you know, this year, nobody's charged for lunch for the whole school year, so we rely on federal and state reimbursements. And these reimbursements have been coming late, so we expect as the year progresses that we're going to catch up somewhat. We do have a budgeted roughly $85,000 subsidy. My expectation is we'll be over it probably by about $35,000 to $40,000, but this is one expectation and one forecast that I sincerely hope I'm wrong at, and we end up the year as close to budgeted subsidy as we can. This is. I also want to thank. I don't want to finish the presentation without expressing our gratitude to Island Kitchen again for the food truck rental. We have served now over 13,000 lunches and close to 3,200 breakfasts. It's been an amazing help for us, and kudos to Linda Peterson and her team. They have worked on short notice. Sometimes I've literally had to call them whether we are remote the next day or whether we're in person, and they switch plans. She's been extremely flexible, and her team, and they've done an amazing job. I mean, under these circumstances, I think it's been great. So I'll open it up for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. looking to our school committee. Any comments or questions? Seeing Zona, thank you. Can't hear you, Zona. That's weird. Something's happening to our sound all of a sudden. Do you want to come back out and in? Oh, you're clapping your hands. Okay. That was a thumbs up from Zona. Thank you, Martin. It's it's amazing. I'm actually pleased to see our lunch is not as bad as I thought it could be. I mean, certainly with all of the struggles that we've had and all of the obstacles. So, but I did think when I looked at that might be a matter of timing on reimbursement, part of that too. So sounds like that is. And yes, kudos to Linda Peterson. She is amazing. And yes, she is. And it's her birthday coming up this week. So if you see Linda Peterson, wish her a happy birthday. Friday it is. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Moving on to committee discussions and votes to be taken. I'm going to ask for a motion and a vote, then I'm going to read into the minutes. So I'm asking for a vote to request to authorize school committee fiscal year 2022 budget education appropriation, Article 8. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. May I have a second?
Second, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. May I have your vote? Zona?
Aye.
Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye, but are we having no comments or thoughts?
We can. I'm going to read in after we have this, but we can. Do you have a comment? Can I just finish the vote and then we'll have
Yep,
comments?
absolutely.
Thank you. So Steve, your vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Tim?
Aye.
Thank you. And Pauline? Aye. Okay, Steve, before I read into the minutes.
Okay. I just, in light of the severity of the diminishment of our kids' education, I mean, it's been almost a year now that we've been either fully remote or in some versions of hybrid. And in light of the diminishment of their education and the increase in the social emotional issues that I'm reading and hearing about nationwide, but also here on Nantucket, I'm not fully satisfied that this budget meets all those needs. I'm taking some solace, is probably not the right word, from being told that in the past, when we've had concerns and needs, they've been discussed with the town has been sympathetic and has responded. And I'd just like to say, as I did, I voted for this budget, but I would like to think that we'll continue to work with the town to try to do more. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And for the purpose of our minutes, on motion duly made and seconded, it was voted to recommend $33,426,987 for the fiscal 2022 Nantucket Education Public Appropriation, Article 8 of the 2021 Annual Town Meeting of Taxpayers. The public school total budget appropriation is recommended at $32,876,987 and $27,276,082 for payroll and $5,600,905 for operating expenses, and an additional $550,000 for community school appropriation for payroll, and to authorize use of the school department accounts as listed. Thank you. I'd like to actually invite Jessie Rush and Lisa Boyd to talk to us before we go into a vote for the next upcoming donation. So I hope you are both unmuted and that you can, we can hear you. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Oh, good. So, hi, I'm Lisa Boyd. This is my husband, Jesse, and we own Nantucket Office Products. So after hearing about the Adopt a Lunch Tray program and realizing there was a need for it, we decided that we wanted to help. So we got in contact with Hewlett Packard and asked if they would partner with us to fundraise for the Adopt a Lunch Tray program, which they agreed. We did a radio ad, we went on different social media outlets and had a really good response from the community, from the businesses, as well as a lot of individuals that just come into the store. So with that being said, we were able to raise $2,475 to donate to the program. And we're excited. We really hope it helps. And we're happy to be a part of the community and help. And thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. This is wonderful. And to go above and beyond and out into the community for our students, that's so generous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So at this point, I would like to have a motion, please, to accept the donation from
Yes.
Office Products.
Bravo, and move to accept.
Thank you. Thank you. And Tim, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Jen Iller?
Aye.
Jen Zona?
Aye.
Thank you. And Steve?
Aye.
Thank you. And that is for an amount of $2,475. Thank you again to Jesse and Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
May I have an approval, please, for donation from Cape Cod Club of MIT to NHS Technology Club for $500?
So moved.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. May I have your vote, Tim?
Aye.
Tim, Steve?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
Thank you. Zona?
Aye.
Thank you. And Pauline, aye. Vote to approve donation for the Life Touch photography to Nantucket High School activity account for $786.93.
Move approval.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second, Zona Butler.
Thank you, Zona. Steve, may I have your vote?
Sorry, couldn't find the button. Aye.
Okay, thanks. Jen?
Aye.
Thank you. Zona?
Aye.
Thank you. Tim?
Aye.
Thank you. Pauline, aye. May I have a vote approval for the donation from Cape Cod 5 to Nantucket High School English Department for independent reading for $500.
Zona Butler.
Thank you, Zona. Second, Jen. Tim, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Zona?
Aye.
Thank you, Pauline, aye. Move approval, please, for the donation from Island Lumber Company to Nantucket High School Woodshop Program for $1,000.
Move Zona Butler.
Thank you, Zona.
Second.
Thank you, Jen. Second. Steve, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Thank you. Zona? Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Thank you, Pauline Proch, aye. Move approval, please, for a donation from Wayne H. DuPont to Nantucket High School class of 2021 of $200.
So
Zona
moved.
Butler.
Thank you. We got a second. May I have Jen, your vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Zona?
Aye.
Thank you. Tim?
Aye.
Thank you. Steve?
Aye.
Thank you. Move approval, please, for Community Foundation for Nantucket on behalf of Josh and Bernadette Brown for Adopt a Lunch program for $500.
Move Zona Butler.
Thank you, Zona.
Second.
Thank you, Jen. Tim, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Zona.
Aye.
Thank you, Pauline Proch, aye. Move approval, please, for Life Touch Photography to CPS activity account for $1,352.95.
Move, Zona Butler.
Thank you, Zona.
Second.
Thank you, Jen. Tim, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Thank you, Zona. Sorry, Zona, didn't hear you.
Aye.
Aye, sorry. Pauline, aye. Donation for Nantucket Sheriff Department to Nantucket Elementary and Intermediate Schools, 720 whiteboards, markers, and erasers.
Thank you, Sheriff Department. So move,
Yeah.
Zona Butler.
Thank you, Zona.
Second.
Thank you, Jen. Steve, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Tim?
Aye.
Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Thank you, Zona.
Aye.
Thank you, Pauline. Aye. Approval of donation from Josh and Bernadette Brown to Nantucket Community School Learn to Swim program for $1,000.
Move approval.
Move, Zona Butler.
Thank
Second.
you, Tim, and Zona second. Jen, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Thank you, Zona.
Aye.
Thank you. Vote approval, please, for the School Opportunity Act submission to the Department of Education.
So moved.
Thank you, Jen. Has second?
Second.
Thank you. Zona, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Thank you, Pauline. Aye. May I have approval, please, for January 5th, 2021 meeting minutes?
Move, Zona Butler.
Thank you, Zona.
Second.
Thank you, Tim. Jen, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Thank you, Tim.
Aye.
Thank you, Zona.
Aye.
Thank you. Move approval for January 15th, 2021 public hearing minutes.
Move approval.
Thank you, Tim.
Zona
Second.
Butler.
Second, Zona, thank you. Steve, have your vote, please.
Aye.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Zona.
Aye.
Thank you, Tim.
Aye.
Thank you, and Pauline, aye. Transfer and invoices, we have two here. We have one that was in our packet for this week, and then we have the one from the 21st. If we could do those together. Vote for the transfers and invoices. May I have a
So moved.
Zona Butler.
Thank you. Jen, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Thank you, Tim.
Aye.
Thank you, Zona.
Aye.
Thank you. This is amazing. We've got just under $5,000 plus 720 whiteboards and erasers. I mean, we are so fortunate to have such a generous, giving community and folks like Jesse and Lisa who went out of their way, hearing what our needs were, and then going off and going to our community to get funds. We are very, very, very fortunate.
If I may, Madam Chair, I did notice how many donations there were today. It seems like the longest list we've seen. And I just think all those people should be appreciated.
Yes, yes. I always like it when Martin does his year end where he puts it in his spreadsheet of all of the donations. I mean, it's staggering, you know, who gives donations and grants to our schools and helps our students. We could not do this alone. And clearly we're lucky enough to not have to. So thank you. That was a lot to go through. I'd like to get to subcommittee work. If any subcommittees have met and anyone has a report out on anything.
I want to remind us that the legislative breakfast, which is going to be a Zoom meeting, is coming up. I believe the date is February 12th. If it's not, I will make sure I get the exact date to you. So that's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting to be in the room with the representatives, and we have breakout sessions, which is you know, pretty fun and informative. So keep that in mind coming up.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you.
And that's reporting from the Cape Collaborative Group.
I love hearing that. Anyone else? Comments, meetings? No? Okay. Amanda Mack is swimming, so she had emailed Logan and I earlier to say she wouldn't be able to join us tonight, but I think swimming is coming to an end soon, so she'll be able to be back joining us as our student council
A
representative.
shout out, if I may, Madam Chair,
Yes, you may.
for the creativity of the swimming program. I mean, they're not virtual exactly, but swimming in their own pools and then comparing the results. Very creative, very cool.
That's great. Yes, it's been a time for creativity. Jen, please.
Yeah, just in talking about future agenda items, I'm just hoping that I can have a moment to ask for the board to maybe think about adding some items, and that would be hearing from our guidance departments. That I think is really important during these times. And I would love to have an update on the busing situation and where we're at with that. And then lastly, the Green Communities update, because I think I did see something in the newspaper. Maybe Diane can help us with that.
Okay. Great. May I leave this with Beth, that for her to reach out to her staff to see what dates would work best for the guidance department. Busing update could be Martin, perhaps. Would you be the appropriate person to provide us that update, Martin? Okay.
I can do that. Yes, we can discuss it with Superintendent Hallett, and I can deliver an update. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. And then Beth, if you could reach out to the Green Communities folks, that would be great. Thank you. So I think tentatively for our February 18th meeting, which is marked at 6:30, and I believe that is a Thursday. Let me just check. It is a Thursday. It is at 6:30, and we have the K through 12 art presentation, school committee self-evaluation document. So presuming, Logan, you'll be sending that out to us to fill in? Okay. Superintendent's evaluation tool. That's something, I know it's a new tool this year, so we'll look into that. And then we'll be looking at the district report card as well. Okay. I know today's...
My apologies. Actually, we will be having a Schoology presentation at our next meeting, and we will have an art department. The art department presentation will be at the following meeting. So there is.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I see Quiz Bowl is questioned for March 2nd. Is that too soon for us to know if we're going to have to beat our students again for another year in a row on the Quiz Bowl? Or is that too soon to tell? Because I can start studying if they're going to come up.
We're ready, aren't we, Tim?
Tim's ready. Tim's ready anytime, right?
I'm angry, hostile, and mobile. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I see that's tentative for March 2nd. Okay, Jen, we'll work on those recommendations and bring them into the next next few meetings.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, any other business for discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Jen. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim. Steve, may I have your vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Jen.
Aye.
Thank you, Zona. Thank you, Tim.
Aye.
And Pauline, aye. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.